Hello everybody! We just got back from the windiest day ever on the coast, and I've showered and had some food, so feeling a little more like myself. But I thought before I edit the video, I want to give you an idea of where we are on the coastal journey. So if you look at the whole thing, you can kind of get an idea of how big our coast is over here. So if we zoom in, I actually started the whole thing here and I went this way and I did this whole Moray County coast. And I'm now going the opposite direction around the Aberdeenshire Coast. So in this video, you're going to see everything from Portsoy to the other side of Macduff, which is kind of over here. So Banff and Macduff are really close together, and you'll see that in the video. I've been thinking lately about how this section of the coast is pretty straightforward. It's a very smooth, kind of even line. And then once you get over to the west coast, you can see all of these sea locks and just tons of little islands and zigzags and all sorts of windy coastlines. So that's going to be really interesting how I navigate that. After I do the Aberdeenshire Coast, which goes all the way down to there, I'm not sure what section I'm going to tackle next. We'll have to see. Portsoy Harbour was built at the end of the 17th century, and much of the original structures and surrounding buildings remain today, which makes it very interesting and picturesque for artists and photographers. You may even recognize some of the old buildings from the show Peaky Blinders. The area is also famous for Portsoy marble, or serpentinite, which is still being quarried and made into objects and jewelry at the local warehouse. In fact, there are a lot of interesting geological features nearby that are worth exploring if you have time. After a quick sketch, it was time to move eastward, and luckily it was a beautiful warm day because the road was quite hilly and provided a challenge for us. Access to the coastal cliffs for much of this section was blocked by farms with barbed wire fences and a large quarry, but I had a particular spot in mind I wanted to check out that I had noticed on the map, and I'm really glad I looked it up ahead of time because we easily could have rode past this and never even known it was there, as it was well hidden in the forest. Wow. Boyne Castle was built in the 16th century, but only occupied for 2 centuries by various lairds and ladies before being abandoned. There's like a little room right there with a tiny window between the walls. I wonder what that was for. And then up there's a bunch of space. Maybe. And there's definitely a chamber here. There's some like potions, some little experiments in the castle. I bet it's some local kids pretending they're witches or... Can you find the dungeon?
It's down there.
Alright, get in. You've been naughty. There he goes down into the dungeon. I really don't like being in here. I'm scared of it collapsing. Need a spot for lunch and then I'll paint?
Sure.
Although the castle's now overgrown and in ruins, it has such an immense presence among the trees, and you can't help but feel overwhelmed by curiosity as you step between the archways or stare up at the crumbling towers. Cheers. It's kind of surreal to have a picnic and draw a 400-year-old castle that you stumbled upon in the woods, knowing that you're later going home to edit a video on a computer and then watch Netflix on a PlayStation. The juxtaposition of history and technology can be a bit overwhelming to think of, but it's what makes living in Scotland interesting and something I will never take for granted.
Thank you.
A slushy on the coast.
Yeah.
Because you're crazy.
Because I'm a child.
Sugar rush.
Yes.
Just let me.
You alright?
I have to stretch. It. Sometimes when it's just uphill forever, you gotta walk it. Very hilly. So this is the point where I'm walking up some of the really long hills part of the way because my legs have just like cramped up. So I'm taking baby steps. Imagine. Oh, sorry. No, nothing to worry about. It was just a pheasant freaking out next to me, as they do. What was I saying? I'm dying. It's fine. A few days later, we returned to continue along through Banff and over past Macduff to the infamous abandoned Tarler swimming pool. We initially intended to ride all the way to Gardenston and back, but you'll soon see that the weather had something else in mind. We're back in Banff, ready to start the next leg of the journey on a rather stormy day, but hopefully some of the har will clear up as we go, because we can see the sun trying to come out. We'll see. You gonna wear your shell?
No.
Your jacket shell? Banff and Macduff are directly adjacent to each other and offer a range of attractions, from shops and restaurants to examples of Georgian architecture and even an aquarium featuring sea life from the Moray Firth. These towns felt very relaxed and quiet, not super touristy, but we were more interested in reaching the east side of Macduff without stopping too much. I knew there were some massive cliffs on the east side of Macduff, which I was excited about. But what I didn't expect to stumble upon was this open-air abandoned swimming pool. It's a bit creepy. Whoa. Is it cave? This triple tidal pool, which is pretty much still all intact, was built in the 1930s. But after a while, tourism slowed down and it was abandoned in the 1990s. Here goes nothing. Golf course. Yeah. Are they coming down this way, you think, or going? Oh no, they tee off there. So should we just ride as fast as we can to that cliff point? freaking windy. Oh man. Oh wow. It never ceases to amaze me in the Highlands when you're really close to a town, but suddenly you feel like you're completely alone, immersed in the rugged, raw power of nature. Before Wolfie was joining me on these coastal journeys, so often people would think that I'm completely alone in the wilderness, but I'm only minutes from a town most of the time. I just wander down a path and then it's like I'm in another world. I cherish being able to feel like I'm getting lost in nature and yet know that I'm still relatively close to home. It always looks more dramatic in the video, but it is very dramatic and I'm really scared of heights.
Isn't it?
I'm terrified.
Of what?
Falling.
She's got the grace of a swan.
Woo! So windy!
Here she goes now. She is fucking terrified. I can't say I blame her. She's really overcome with the old vertigo here. You can't blame her. Look at it.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh. I desperately wanted to paint the view from atop the cliffs, but the wind was relentless and only getting worse. So we made our way back to town, and along the way we found this really cool arch rock, which is kind of like a mini bow fiddle rock, which made for a great subject, and it allowed me to get some sketching in before the end of the day. But we could tell the rain was coming, so we needed to hurry back to the car.
Somewhere in the great unknown, when I return from the afterglow, will you carry me like I am whole?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on, put me together, take me back where I've been. I want it all. I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone. Hold on, put me together, take me back where I belong. I want it all. I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone. The feeling is all gone.
Good job. Woo!
Feeling is all gone.
Look at this. Woo!
Starkey.
Imagine.